I have been trying to learn art for the past 5 years. I started in 2017 when a random Macocino video appeared on my recommended page telling me how to draw eyes. And ever since then, I have been on a quest, on a journey, to becoming an art god. Now, I know I am nowhere near that status yet, but I have made quite a progress going from total noob to a portrait painter with passable skills in color and rendering. And I thought of making a series of videos that go through some major insights that I've gained throughout my art journey, and document my progress as I go in a way. I initially thought of doing one every 5 years, but thinking about it, that's probably a little too long of a gap between the videos, and I'll probably be retired by the time I reach the 15th video in the series, so maybe I'll do one yearly. I'm not sure yet, we'll just have to see, but for now, I'll be telling you 5 things that I have learned in the first 5 years of my art journey. Number 1. Pride will hinder your progress. As some of you may or may not know, I started with traditional art. I had 2 reasons for this. 1, I couldn't afford a tablet. 2, I was a pretentious bitch. I was one of those people who didn't consider digital art as real art because it's way too easy and not difficult enough. I later learned that was very wrong, and had I not opened up to the idea of doing digital art, I would not have discovered the magic and the beauty of this amazing medium. Because that's the thing, it's not necessarily an easier way of painting, although it is more efficient. It's just a different medium. The same way watercolor is a separate medium from pastels and graphite. I always see a lot of art purists online and in real life as well, and they like to gatekeep the idea of what art is. Unfortunately, many new artists end up falling for that mentality and become very hesitant on using digital tools because they think it's cheating. I mean, the way I think about it is that you should be asking yourself what your end goal is in creating art. For me, it all boils down to creating a good artwork that I am proud of, or something that perfectly describes my emotion that I'm trying to convey. It's not about taking the most difficult route in creating something and impressing other people with how good I am, with unnecessarily limiting the use of the tools that are available. With that in mind, I realized that yeah, I can still reach my goal of making good art with digital art, and that's all that mattered. I feel like we have to let go of that ego aspect of art, especially when you're just starting. Your goal should not be to impress other people, it should be to create something that you're proud of and that expresses your emotion, you know? Maximize the use of the tools that you have at your disposal. Do not be ashamed of using the features that digital art has to offer. Those are what separate digital art from different mediums and give it its own identity. Using the tools in your software to their full potential will make everything more efficient and may also teach you some unexpected lessons with your art. Personally, in Krita, I use the color balance tool, the color curves, as well as the liquify. I love using those 3 in conjunction with painting, with layers and all of that. Number 2. Breaks are just as important as the time you take in working. People often say that you should draw every day. I disagree. I mean, if you can do that and not go insane, good for you, babes. Good for you. But let's be honest, most people are not like that, and most of us do not have a life that makes drawing daily something that is possible. I'm currently studying an engineering program, and people already go crazy with the amount of work given to them in engineering courses. Like, why would it be practical for me to force myself into the habit of drawing every day if it will negatively impact my performance in everything else? If it is even physically possible to do so in the first place, Not everyone has the luxury of time and the energy needed to draw every day, and that's okay. It's great to be ambitious when it comes to art and self-improvement in general. However, it is also very important to be realistic. My life is not built the same as John. With a rich family with no responsibilities, and that's alright. I remember being in so many stages of my art journey trying to draw daily and feeling like a loser because I can't keep up, and looking back now, a lot of that just seems like unnecessary effort to give myself art block. I've actually been trying to sleep more nowadays because I found out that learning actually becomes very difficult with sleeplessness because sleep is crucial for the retention of information that you learn. Without proper rest, you'll be stuck in an endless cycle of studying art and not retaining knowledge or muscle memory. I feel as if that was the reason why I went through that stage of stagnation with my art for a bit. Because I wasn't resting, and now that I've made an effort to give myself a break, things have never been better. I have made it a habit to always dedicate one day of the week to do nothing basically, and just watch movies, listen to music, and rest. And do mundane things without the pressure of making a freaking masterpiece, If you have the privilege of resting, make the most out of it. Taking care of yourself is crucial for progress. Number 3. A lot of the info online is overly simplified. Just because an art tip is simple and is understandable doesn't mean that it is true or is necessarily helpful. As artists who start their journeys with the assistance of the internet, I feel like many of us have gone through a stage of binging how-to videos or quick tip videos, and one thing that I can tell you is that you should take the things you learn from those with a grain of salt. Even this video. Why? Because there are no arbitrary laws in art. There are just guides, and even the guides do not apply to every situation. The subjective nature of art also makes it very difficult to sum up all of the knowledge you need in a single video or even 100 videos. That kind of realization may seem daunting to some, but I think that is where the beauty of learning art lies. The fact that you can break all the guides and make something that people will still fall in love with is amazing. And I feel as if the overly short nature of videos and social media currently does a bit of disservice to a lot of learning artists because, well, they're short. As a result of that, a lot of the content creators are often forced to overly simplify everything to the point where they are giving advice that is essentially useless. Example, use warm light and cool shadows together. Don't use black to shade. These do not make sense in my opinion, as they are tips to get a very specific kind of look for your art. Most styles won't have to follow these rules, and I think that it is a bit unfortunate that I know many who think that these guides are law that they can never break, you know? I may be overthinking this topic a little bit, but I think it's worth discussing. I'm actually planning on making a video on this specific topic because I think it's super important to tackle, but everything I said was just a brief explanation as to why I think short-form content is pretty unreliable when it comes to learning art, or learning anything for that matter. Don't take everything you see as truth, as even believing something that is partially true can lead you to making errors in the future. Got it? Okay. Number 4. Consistency is everything. This is kind of the opposite of the second point, but I feel like discussing the importance of both rest and work is important. The periods of my art journey that I've made the most progress are the times when I drew the most but still rested. Balance. Obviously, if you just rest, you won't improve much. But a thing to remember is that it's not about making high quantities of artwork all the time. It's about making an effort to draw or paint in a schedule that is not too taxing so that you can consistently maintain it, but frequent enough that you're making good progress in a certain time frame. I draw every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I keep up with the habit, and so far, things are going well. Do a schedule for you that is slightly challenging for now, but isn't too challenging to the point of making you quit, you know? Even if the schedule you start with is not that frequent, start small and maybe increase the number of days a week you draw when you feel comfortable doing such. It's all about starting positive habits little by little. Or just don't get into a schedule. Maybe you're doing art just for fun. That's alright too. This is just my take on what has helped me improve a bit through the years, okay? Social media growth also requires consistency, so same thing. You already know, moving on. Number 5. Write everything down. Writing is super helpful. However, writing's not that easy. But with Grammarly... I'm kidding. Can you imagine? I write everything down. Random bursts of inspiration can happen anytime, so write it down before it disappears. I have so much ideas written in my notes app for artwork concepts, real ideas, and even YouTube content. If you have a banging idea, then type it or write it on a piece of paper. Although I just recommend the good old Notes app because it's simple, it's free, and it's easily accessible to a lot of people with phones. The painting you're currently seeing is actually from an idea that I wrote on my Notes app. Oh, and also with scheduling. I don't have a fancy app, I just have a lined notebook I use as a planner. I'm not showing it because it's not very pretty. But let's just call it functional, okay? We're all about function here. This is where I write my daily schedules in. I struggle a lot with procrastination, and the thing I did to help manage it is to do small things daily instead of being lazy from Monday to Friday and then trying to fit all my tasks in the remaining 2 days of the week. When I spread out my tasks throughout a long period of time and I actually see how little work I have to do daily, it becomes a lot easier to get up and be productive. I know this won't work for everyone, but it works for me, and it has definitely helped me become a bit less lazy in the recent months. And yeah, that's the last one. Yay! I hope you took something of value from this video. Let me know if any of these helped you. If they didn't, sorry. Maybe my Redbubble products will help you feel better. Link in the description. Let me know what more videos you want from me in the comments, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!